I wanted to ask you guys some questions. Like basically, you, Brian, too. First question: Who are you afraid of losing on the Ohio State roster? Because I earlier in this show we were talking about the NIL, the transfer portal. I'd love to hear from both of you guys. Who are you afraid to lose the most? And you don't need to speculate on whether they would, because that may not be fair to them or us. But who would you rather? Who are you afraid to lose the most?
Matt, you want to take that?
Go for it, Matt.
I think the only person that I would be really concerned about, because I mean, a lot of our best players are going pro after this year. So really, like the only stars that we have that would be a concern at this point would be JTT or Harrison. I mean, outside of bad, but not like, program ending, like those would be.
I really couldn't agree more. Those are the two guys that JT jumped out right away. And obviously Marvin Harrison. And you do, with Ohio State, I've been saying really since the beginning of the year, I feel like it's a 2-year window to win a championship, because as long as they can keep the nucleus of the team together, even though they're losing the 2 tackles, they can probably go into the portal and fill at least one of those spots, if not both. I think the defense next year could be one of the best we've ever had if that entire group comes back. But, you're going to lose guys here and there, but what you don't have is a bunch of skill guys behind Egbuka and Harrison that are just ready to jump in. I don't think that wide receiver class last year was nearly on the same par that it's been the last handful of years. And if they can hold this class together, it's really going to be something, but it's probably going to be a couple years. But I don't necessarily care whether it's Kyle McCord, whether it's Devin Brown, whether they go to the portal for a quarterback. They're going to put up numbers with Marvin Harrison and Egbuka next year, and whoever's in, Mayan Williams back there, and they'll probably lean more on the running game next year anyway. But the defense should be, with everybody back, pretty damn good next year. If everybody stays.
You would think. And next year that'll be another show, but my gosh, the quarterback for Ohio State's going to be the biggest story. I think for Michigan, as far as losses, I think it would be at the running back position for me. And I could see, like we were saying before, just someone saying, I'm getting all this money, so this other team's offering me all this money and you guys aren't. And I wouldn't blame them for doing it. That's kind of the problem. If someone's offering them a huge amount of money to leave, like a Donovan Edwards, like I don't think he would leave. I'm not saying that he would, or like even have any info or anything like that. But no speculation. I'm just pointing out that would probably be the scariest thing for me.
I would think for you guys. I would think for you guys, it might be, some of the young offensive linemen that you've developed. You've really got something cooking with the way that the offensive line has turned around the last couple of years. I'm still in the camp that running backs are largely replaceable. Certainly the drop off from, a Blake Corum to your third string guy is going to be, like when you lose Mayan Williams and Travion Henderson and Evan Pryor in the same year for large chunks of the year. Yeah, I mean, it's a completely different when you're down to your 4th, 5th string. But even then, a team like Ohio State has their 5th string running back is running for 6 yards a pop against Michigan. You know what I mean? It's not like not like that. But you're not going to do that if you go to your backup center or your backup left tackle. Most teams don't have the quality that you're still going to be contending for conference championships and national championships that way.
Or your backup long snapper. Which happened to Ohio State, right?
Well, that's probably what cost the USC. They couldn't handle the rush. I think one of their top offensive linemen got hurt prior to the game, prior to the Pac-12 championship game, and then one of their top linemen got hurt in the game. So, those combined with Caleb getting hurt too, like it was just
very few teams
a good line.
And I thought, especially was the right tackle. How he's like what's your right tackle? What year is he?
Oh, Trente Jones. I think
is he a sophomore?
Redshirt sophomore, maybe.
Yeah, like
he was new this year.
He's been really good. He's been really good. I mean, those are the guys that when you can get a guy that you weren't necessarily counting on that steps up, like even though DeJuan Jones, like, he really has become a solid player. I don't know that he's going to go as high in the draft as some Buckeye fans think he's going to, but he's a really solid player. He was wasn't he like the last guy in the class, Matt? Like he was definitely not a 5-star kid. He was not Paris Johnson Jr. by any means. But if you can get those guys and develop them into really quality players, but in most of these programs, hell, even at the NFL level, you lose a starting caliber offensive tackle. Most teams don't have the depth to really sustain that loss. So that's the biggest one I think to watch for Ohio State beyond the quarterback position, which is kind of obvious. I think the fact that they're going to lose 2 really, really good bookend tackles.
Recruiting hasn't been great. Like we were having an unbelievable run of tackles, and then all of a sudden, last year and this year, we haven't been able to land any top guys.
Yeah, I would think I think they're gonna almost certainly go into the portal for at least one of those.
They have no choice.
Yeah.
That and also like defensive linemen were missing out because they're these guys are allegedly getting like a couple $1 million a year now for some of these top 5-star defensive ends down south. Like I don't know how you can compete with that.
Well, and it sucks when if you believe the rumors, we were in the lead for at least 2 of the top 3, and we're probably not going to get any of them because of NIL bullshit.
Yep.
Exactly.